Xin chào các bạn, mình là Phút đọc sách. Hôm nay mình sẽ đọc truyện What If? Soulmates. What if everyone actually had only one soulmate? A random person somewhere in the world. What a nightmare that would be. There are a lot of problems with the concept of a single random soulmate. As Tim Minchin put it in his song, If I Didn't Have You. Your love is 1 in a million. You couldn't buy it at any price. But of the 9,999,000 other loves, statistically, some of them would be equally nice. But what if we did have one randomly assigned perfect soulmate, and we couldn't be happy with anyone else? Would we find each other? We'd assume your soulmate is chosen at birth. You don't know anything about who or where they are, but in your romantic Chile, you recognize each other the moment your eyes meet. Right away, this would raise a few questions. For starters, would your soulmate even still be alive? 100 billion or so humans have ever lived, but only 7 billion are alive now, which gives a human condition a 93% mortality rate. If we were all paired up at random, 90% of our soulmates would be long dead. This sounds horrible, but wait, it gets worse. A simple argument shows we can't limit ourselves just to past humans. We have to include an unknown number of future humans as well. See, if your soulmate is in the distant past, then it also has to be possible for soulmates to be in a distant future. After all, your soulmate's soulmate is. So let's assume your soulmates live at the same time as you. Furthermore, to keep things from getting creepy, we'd assume they're within a few years of your age. This is stricter than a standard age gap creepiness formula. But if we assume a 30-year-old and 40-year-old can be soulmates, then the creepiness rule is violated if they accidentally meet 15 years later. With the same age restriction, most of us would have a pool of around 500 million potential matches. But what about gender and sexual origin and culture and language? We could keep using things demographics to try to narrow things down further, but we'd be drifting away from the idea of a random soulmate. In our scenario, you wouldn't know anything about who your soulmate until you looked into their eyes. Everybody would have only one Otarian towards the soulmate. The odds of running into your soulmate would be incredibly small. The number of strangers we make eye contact, which each day can vary from almost none, shut-ins or people in small towns, to many thousands, a police officer in Times Square. But let's suppose you lock eyes with an average of a few dozens estimate. If 10% of them are close to your age, that would be around 50,000 people in a lifetime. Given you have 500 million potential soulmates, it means you'd find true love only in a lifetime out of 10,000. With the threat of dying alone looming so prominently, society would restructure to try to enable as much eye contact as possible. We would put together massive conveyor belts to move lines of people past each other. But if the eye contact effect works over webcams, we would be just modified version of Chatluette. If everyone used the system for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it takes you a couple of seconds to decide if someone's your soulmate, this system could, in theory, match everyone up with their soulmates in a few decades. I modeled a few simple systems to estimate how quickly people would pair off and drop out as a single pool. If you want to try to work through the math for a particular setup, you might start by looking at the arrangement problems. In the real world, many people have trouble finding any time at all for romance. People would devote 2 decades to it. So maybe only rich kids would be able to afford to sit around on soulmate roulette. Unfortunately, for the proverbial 1%, most of their soulmates would be found in the other 99%. If only 1% of the wealthy used the service, that 1% of that 1% would find their match through this system, 1 in 10,000. The other 99% of the 1% would have an incentive to get more people into the system. This might sponsor charitable projects to get computer for the rest of your world, a cross between one laptop per child and OKC Cupid. Careers like cashier and police office in Times Square would become high-status places because of the eye contact potential. People would flock into cities and public gathering places to find love, just as they do now. But even if a bunch of us spent years on soulmate roulette, another bunch of us managed to hold jobs that offered constant eye contact with strangers, and the rest of us just hoped for luck. Only a small minority of us would ever find true love. The rest of us would be out of luck. Given all the stress and pressure, some people would fake it. They want to join the club, so they'd get together with another lonely person and fake a staged soulmate encounter. They'd marry, hide their relationship problems, and struggle to present a happy face to their friends and family. A world of random soulmates would be a lonely one. Let's hope that's not what we live in. Tôi đã đọc xong phần đọc của tôi. Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã lắng nghe.